Think about the happiest person you know. They smile, they post beautiful photos. Everything looks perfect. But what if they are not happy at all? You've seen 100 photos like this one. Maybe you've posted one yourself. But behind many of these photos, there's a different truth. Tired eyes, a quiet sadness, a person who feels empty, even when their life looks full. Elon Musk says this happens more often than people think. Most people spend years trying to feel happy. But Elon Musk asks a very different question. What if happiness is not the real goal? What if the real goal is to become useful? Not useful like a machine, useful like a person who gives more to the world than they take. It sounds simple, but it is much harder than it sounds. One small question changes everything. Instead of asking, "How can I feel better today?" you ask, "What can I give today?" That one small question can change how an entire day feels. It doesn't promise comfort. It promises a reason to keep going, even on the hard days. This isn't a story about rockets or fame or money. It's a story about one hard, useful idea. An idea Elon Musk has repeated, in different words, for years. So why does Elon Musk think this way? He has built rockets. He has built electric cars. Many people call him successful. But success did not teach him the biggest lesson. Life did. Elon Musk has said many times that money is not enough. A good job is not enough. Even success is not enough. People can have all these things and still feel empty. That's not a small problem either. It touches people who have almost nothing, and people who seem to have everything. Success doesn't fix it by itself. A bigger house doesn't fix it. A better job title doesn't fix it. Whatever is missing, money alone can't buy it. Elon Musk has an answer. It's not a soft one. It's not comfortable. But it keeps coming back. Every time he speaks. Real hope, he says, doesn't come from comfort. It comes from having something worth working for. Comfort can disappear in one bad day. A real reason to work does not disappear so easily. It stays, even when the day is hard. Maybe you know that feeling too. The difference between a morning you dread and a morning you actually want to start. This story is about that answer, where it comes from, why it works, and what it might cost you to use it. It starts, like most honest things do, with a warning. Something almost everyone does, without ever noticing they're doing it. Elon Musk says the first problem is not money. It is not time. It is not talent. It is the stories we tell ourselves. He calls it wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is simple to explain. You believe something because you want it to be true, not because it really is. It feels good at the moment. It feels safe, but little by little, it moves you away from reality. That is why Elon Musk does not trust easy answers. He says clear thinking should guide your life. Honest questions, real evidence, not your wishes. If you want to build something real, you can't build it on what you wish were true. You have to build it on what is actually true, even when that truth hurts a little. This is harder than it sounds. Everyone likes comfortable answers. We choose the version that hurts the least. Think about how easy it is to tell yourself a small, comfortable lie. I'll start tomorrow. This wasn't really my fault. It will be fine. These thoughts feel warm. They help us feel better for a short time. But they do not solve the real problem. That is the danger. Wishful thinking never says, "Hey, this is a lie." It just feels warm and easy and safe, right up until reality proves it wrong. So Elon Musk chose a different way to live route. Read constantly. Learn from many fields, not just one. Try many different kinds of work, early in life, before you decide what to build your future on. Not because trying many things is fun, though it can be. It's because you can't know what you're truly good at until you test yourself against reality. Again and again. Most people never do this. They guess what they might be good at. Then they stop testing the guess. They protect it instead of checking it. Elon Musk did the opposite. He read everything he could find. He tried different paths. He let reality correct him, again and again, long before anyone called him successful. He didn't protect his early ideas. He tested them, broke a few, and kept only what survived. This is the first real lesson, and it isn't comfortable. Truth comes first. Comfort comes later, if it comes at all. There's one more part, and it's the hardest part. Once you know something is true, you have to let it change you, not just once. Again and again, every time new proof arrives. Elon Musk calls this improving yourself in a loop. You try something. Reality shows you what's wrong. You fix that part. Then you try again, a little better than before. Most people stop after the first try. They build something, they hear it's wrong, and they feel hurt instead of curious. They defend the old version instead of building a better one. That sting you feel when someone points out your mistake, that's not a sign to shut down. It's the exact moment the loop is supposed to work. Elon Musk goes looking for the hard truth on purpose, especially from the people closest to him. Not because it feels good. It rarely does. But it's one of the fastest ways to find the truth, before it costs you more later. A small, honest fix today is far cheaper than a big, painful failure next year. This is the real trade at the heart of the whole idea. A little pain now for something solid later. Most people choose the opposite, without even noticing they made a choice at all. They choose the comfortable lie today and pay for it later, usually at a much higher price. Finding the truth is only the first step. The next question is harder. Once you know what is worth building, how much are you willing to give? Elon Musk's answer is direct. Most people work about 40 hours a week. He has worked closer to 80, sometimes closer to 100. Do the math with him for a second. One person works 40 hours a week, another works 100. The second person isn't just working a little harder. They're doing more than double the work, in the same 7 days. What takes one person a year might take the other only 4 months. That's not a small difference. It changes what's possible inside a single lifetime. Time is the same for everyone. How you use it is your choice. Think about two people starting the exact same project, on the exact same day. One works evenings and weekends into the plan. The other stops at 5 o'clock every day without fail. A year later, they are not standing anywhere near the same place. Two people can start with the same dream, the same skill, even the same luck. Only their hours will separate them, over time. Small hours become big results, day after day, week after week. It's one of the few advantages anyone can simply choose to have. But working harder is still not enough. You also have to work smarter. Your first idea is usually wrong, and that is normal. Everyone starts there. Not completely wrong, but wrong enough that it needs to change, again and again, before it actually works. This is called execution. Building the idea, testing it, breaking it, fixing it, and building it again. No one starts with the final version. Even the best builders begin with something rough, something a little wrong. Then they spend months or years making it better, one small fix at a time. So how do you improve faster? Elon Musk has one simple answer. Ask for honest feedback. Strangers are often polite. Friends, if you ask them the right way, will tell you the truth. Sometimes you will not like what they say. That is exactly why it matters. That truth will hurt. But pain is not always your enemy. Sometimes it is your best teacher. It's supposed to. Working long hours, without honest feedback, only makes mistakes bigger, faster. The two lessons work together, the hours and the honesty. Neither one alone is enough. A person who works 100 hours on the wrong idea only reaches the wrong place faster. Hard work needs honest direction, or it wastes itself completely. Put both parts together, and a pattern appears. Long hours, guided by honest truth, move faster than either one alone ever could. Not magic, not luck. Just more honest hours, spent fixing the same mistake before it grows too big to fix. That is why Elon Musk works so hard. Not because hard work is magic, because honest work gets better every time you learn from it. And that changes everything. Then Elon Musk says something nobody expects. Just one sentence. But it changes everything you thought about hard work. He does not call building a company exciting. He calls it something completely different. Staring into the abyss. Eating glass. Those are not happy words. They sound painful. And that is exactly the point. Not a fun challenge. Not an adventure. A long, painful stretch of time where nothing feels easy. Where quitting would feel like relief. This is the part most success stories leave out. The exciting beginning gets all the attention. The middle, the hard, tired, uncertain middle, gets almost none. Nobody posts a photo of the middle. People love the finish line. Almost nobody talks about the long road before it. Nobody shows the quiet nights of doubt, or the mornings where nothing feels worth starting. And yet the middle is where almost everything gets decided. Maybe you know that feeling too. You started with hope. Then one day, you felt tired. You wanted to stop. The one where you started something with so much hope, and now you can barely remember why. Think about the feeling of starting something new. At the very beginning, hope runs high. Everything feels possible. Then, slowly, the excitement fades, and the real problems arrive. The ones no one warned you about. For a long stretch, it only gets worse before it gets better. That does not mean you failed. It means you are in the middle, Baldage. That is normal. It is not proof that you chose wrong. It is simply the shape almost every real hard thing takes. Elon Musk lived through this middle more than once. Tesla now builds some of the best cars in the world. But Tesla once came within weeks of running out of money completely. Not once, more than once. Imagine that for a moment. Today people see success. Back then, people saw possible failure. At that point, there was no proof it would work. No promise, only the choice to keep working. One more day, one more week. Without knowing if it would ever be enough. Workers kept building cars, not knowing if there'd be enough money to pay them next month. Elon Musk kept working too, carrying the same fear as everyone around him. Imagine going to work every day like that, not knowing, building anyway. Say that again slowly. Listen to that one more time. He did not know if it would work. He kept working anyway. This is the real cost hidden behind every success story you have ever admired. Success hides this part. Real life does not mold. Not talent, not luck. A long, tired stretch where almost nothing feels like progress, followed by the choice to stay, anyway. Suddenly, the whole idea looks different. Working like hell isn't a slogan for people who simply love their jobs. Anyone can work when everything feels easy. The real test begins when nothing does. It's what people do when quitting would be easier, and they choose not to. It isn't passion alone that carries people through the middle. It's the small, repeated choice to stay one more day, Every hard month you've ever survived, every project you almost gave up on. Seen through this idea, none of it was proof you were failing. It was simply the part of the story nobody shows you in advance. Most people quit right here, in this exact stretch. Not because their idea was wrong, but because the middle felt like proof that it was. Elon Musk's own story says the opposite. The middle is not proof of failure. It is the price of anything worth building. Dreams are cheap. Building them is expensive. That is the price Elon Musk is talking about. Nobody tells you about this price at the beginning. You only discover it after you have already started. And by then, there is only one question left. Will you keep going? Now think about your own life. Not Elon Musk. Yours. Maybe your life does not look anything like Elon Musk's. Maybe you will never build a rocket. Maybe you will never start a company. But one part of his story belongs to all of us. Every day, life asks the same quiet question. Will you keep going, or will you stop? On days like that, Elon Musk does not ask, how can I feel happy today? He asks a different question. What useful thing can I still do today? Sometimes, the answer is much smaller than you expect. Some days, the honest answer will be small, a finished task, a hard conversation done instead of avoided. One honest hour of real work, that is enough. Small things still matter. Real work still matters, even when nobody sees it. You don't need a big project to practice this. One page, one phone call, one promise you keep. A small, honest hour of real work counts just as much on a day when nothing else goes right. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need to be shared, or praised, or even noticed by anyone but you. Elon Musk believes happiness usually comes later. First comes the work. It's often what arrives later, quietly, after the hard part is already behind you. This does not mean your feelings are wrong. It only means you do not have to wait for a good feeling before you begin today. Today may still be hard, tomorrow may be hard too, but one honest step is still possible. You only have to believe it's worth showing up for, even on the days it doesn't feel that way. Some days being useful will feel almost easy. Other days it will feel like eating glass, one small bite at a time. Both days count. Both days move you forward, even the ones that feel like they don't. Most people will never notice your small victories. They will never see the quiet work, but that work still counts. Nobody notices the one honest hour you gave, on a day that felt like nothing, but it still counts. It still adds up. Little by little, those small choices become something bigger. That is where hope begins. You won't always feel it right away. Sometimes it only shows up later, once you look back and see how far the small choices carried you. Maybe happiness will come later, maybe it will not. But if you do one real thing today, today was not wasted. And sometimes, that is enough to keep going. None of this makes hard work easy. It only makes it worth doing. Before we finish, let's look back at the story one last time. The photo looks perfect. A life behind it often doesn't feel that way at all. The gap between the two is wider than most people admit out loud. Elon Musk's answer to that gap is not comfort, it's usefulness. Giving more than you take. Before building anything real, he warns against wishful thinking, believing what feels good, instead of what is true. He works far more hours than most people, because time is limited. Hard work is one of the only ways to buy more of it. Then came the turning point. Starting something real feels less like climbing and more like eating glass, staring into the abyss. Tesla nearly failed before it finally survived. And little by little, the story gave us one simple lesson. You don't need to feel happy today. You need to be useful today. Now, let's remember the key words from this story. One more time. Useful. Being useful means giving something real to the people around you. Hard. Something hard takes real effort. It doesn't come easily. Real. Real means true, not just something that feels good or looks good. Believe. When you believe something, you accept it as true, whether or not it actually is. Tired. When you are tired, your body and mind have little energy left. Hope. Hope is the feeling that something good is still possible, even when things are hard. Nobody can promise that hard work will always bring success. Elon Musk could not promise that either. There was a time when Tesla almost failed. He did not know how the story would end, but he kept working anyway. That is the part people often forget. Success is easy to admire after it happens. The hard part is staying when nothing looks better yet. That is where real courage begins. Not after you win, before you know if you will. So today, or tomorrow, ask yourself Elon Musk's question. Not do I feel good right now, but what is one real, useful thing I can give today? Your answer is completely up to you. Not tomorrow, not someday, today, in whatever small, useful way you can manage. Small, honest, useful, repeated enough times, on enough hard days. That's how real life gets built. Thank you for listening. Keep asking, keep learning, keep moving forward. And if you enjoyed this story, subscribe Glow English Stories for more real English stories like this one.